Alright, what's up guys? I'm Random Frank P, back with the top 10 cool tech under 50 for all of 2024, highlighting the top 10 most purchased products from our Cool Tech Under 50 series from the entire year. So yes, this is going to be the best of the best from the products we've showcased. If you see anything you like, I'll have them all listed for you guys in the description down below, so you can check them out. Literal last minute gift ideas, whether to buy somebody else or for you to ask for. Add it to your wish list. About 10 days left. Hop on these deals while you can. Again, all in the description down below. Let's start it off with item number 10 from July's episode. This little guy is a 3D hologram fan projector, which is a 6-inch blade that has 224 LEDs built into it that, once powered on, spins wildly fast to where it gives the illusion that the LEDs are displaying a 3D hologram right in front of you. And while you're watching this on a 2D screen, it probably does break the illusion, I'll say, but in person it does look much more believable with that 3D illusion there. But as you can see from the side, it is just that single 6-inch blade spinning, giving about a foot diameter of a 3D image straight on, and this has been really cool to mess around with and just find different designs to properly show off. I even made a few myself to demo so you can see how it works, personalized with like my logo and stuff. So definitely a cool gadget, I'd say. Now again, for video's sake, I do have this on a tripod with the black background because that like blends in with the motor behind it. But just so you can see the actual quality of the LEDs and the image it produces, and it's spinning so fast that even adjusting my shutter speed on my camera still does show some of that blade flicker. But again, in person, that's obviously not visible. I do highly recommend mounting this. If you buy one, it does come with mounting gear inside the box. That way it's always, on display but out of reach, and you can control it with an app or with the remote that comes with it too. This will damage your fingers, trust me. There are about 10 preloaded videos on the fan already, which has a micro SD card built in, so you can change it that way, but the app is easier to use if you want to upload photos or videos directly from your phone onto it, so you can literally put anything on display as a 3D image. Or if you're creative, you can make your own videos and upload them like I did with some of the Pokemon stuff. So this was just around $45 for the 6-inch model. They make a ton of different sizes for all different prices. The 11-inch actually sold just as well as this did, but definitely a cool gadget for under 50 bucks. Moving on down to number 9 from November's episode. So just last month already, and it made the list for one of the top deals of the year. This is a 7.8-inch 1280 by 400 IPS monitor that is the perfect little desktop companion for having that little extra screen real estate right at 50 bucks. So checking it out on my setup, I love finding extra displays like this that I can use for secondary programs like Discord, Spotify, or Wallpaper Engine to pretty much just act as a HUD for quick and easy control of programs that I don't need a full monitor's use for. Like just being able to throw on Spotify in here has been awesome. But if you want to use this for your PC with like IDA64 to monitor temps and speeds, you can. IDA64 is actually like one of the main go-tos with displays like this. And there's tons of Wallpaper Engine interfaces that look awesome on here for being a clock or a music player. There's literally hundreds of thousands of wallpapers you can load up, plus all the countless other use cases like being able to use it as a panel for color correction while editing or audio production plugins for EQing. I'm just showing different examples for you guys, but you get the idea. And I'm sure you can get really creative on your own with how you want to use it with your setup. It is recognized in your PC display settings, so you can set this in relation to your other monitors. You can flip it or make it vertical, anything like that. I've seen these used in a bunch of people's PCs online, like internally. So if your case allows for that and that's useful to your workflow, then it's just another bonus. Again, just that 50 bucks, which I think is a really good price for a screen like this that's so versatile and can definitely take your productivity to the next level. Again, just showed this off and it already cracked the top 10. Hop on it while it's in stock. Now for number 8 from February's episode is this Infinity Mirror RGB Light that's going to provide you a visual trip as you gaze into its foreverness. This dodecahedron light is an absolute wild piece of decor for your room or your gaming setup that gives us a really cool sci-fi feel. Like, I feel like I'm staring into the universe each time. With the dodecahedron, it has 12 sides, and each panel gives that infinite illusion. It's all mirrored internally with the RGB lights, so it's just reflecting over and over. And you couple all those mirrors with the fact that it has 256 RGB effects you can pick from, then yeah, you'd see why you can lose time just staring at this. It's controllable with an app if you want to download that, but I just use the included remote to quickly adjust the lights on the fly. You can change color, effects, speed, brightness, all that stuff. My 2-year-old thinks this is the coolest thing in the world, and I don't disagree. For as many RGB products that we've shown off over the years, this is one that is pretty much just made exclusively for decor. And I think for the price of just around 40 bucks, it's not a bad pickup at all if you want to add this to your setup or the man cave. If it matches your aesthetic, then you're gonna love this. Can definitely see this being a big hit as a gift for somebody. The kids are gonna love it. Up next at number 7 is a follow-up to the number 1 most purchased product in the history of cool tech under 50. Believe it or not, just showed this off in October, and that's the new Morpilot portable air compressor. This new model is a must-have gadget for anyone who drives to keep in your car for those just-in-case scenarios, so it's gonna have your back in more ways than one. Again, I know we showed off older models, but this new upgrade is just an insanely popular gifting idea. Checking it out, on the screen you have your current and desired PSI range you can adjust, or cycle between the preset ranges for cars, bikes, balls, and other inflatables. My car's tires are recommended to be at 38 PSI, so I noticed, over the colder months a few of them were getting low, so I can set the compressor to go up to 38 PSI, and just after a few minutes, I'm up and back on the road. Then just toss it in your glove box, comes with an included carrying case as well, and it'll be right there for you. Now this also doubles as a battery bank because underneath there are ports so you can keep this charged, but there's also additional ports if you want to charge your phone when it's getting low, or if it's dead and you're just out stranded. The 9,000 mAh battery inside is surely going to give your phone that extra juice it needs. And there's also a built-in compartment that has all the tips and nozzles stored inside so you don't lose them. And there's even a glass break head, again for those just-in-case scenarios. And then also up top, it has a built-in flashlight, which is really useful, again, if it's dark out and you're trying to pump up the tires, as well as different red flashing modes as like an SOS mode to catch people's attention if you need to. So again, since we showed off the first model, the difference between them are this one is larger with that built-in 9,000 mAh battery. This one's also twice as fast at filling tires, and it has the built-in storage, all for just 40 bucks, which is a really good price for all this can do and that extra ease of mind when you're on the road. Now, number 6 from August's episode is another gadget that I genuinely use around the house. And you guessed it, another good gift idea with the Fanttik D2 laser level. And what's cool about this is it casts a 100-foot self-leveling laser to make all your DIY projects or hanging stuff on the wall 10 times easier. So to show you what's going on, the internal pendulum laser inside can level itself within a 4-degree angle. So depending on where you have this set up, the laser can level itself to be perfectly straight so that the projection is nice and level for you in the unlocked mode, but you can also just choose to lock the laser if you don't want it to balance itself. I bought this earlier in the year when I first got on those wooden slat panels. This made lining everything up and mounting them so much easier. And since the laser has that cross projection, that means you have perfectly accurate lines vertically and horizontally, which is also clutch for shelving and picture frames, pretty much for mounting anything. Again, not only did I use these for the slat panels, but adding the keyboard shelves was a breeze because it gave me that visual layout. My OCD then kicked in and I went around pretty much everywhere in the studio making sure all the frames that I had were even, sound absorption panel, everything now dead center, vertically and horizontally. So while it may not be for everybody, I know the majority of you guys out there like your gamer stuff, but the series itself is all about cool tech in general. So enough of you found it useful where it cracked the top 10 today. So as you guys know, on Amazon around the holidays, there's always like frequent lightning deals and just sale 24/7. This is currently around $35, but they always have like an active coupon code, which you could just check right there. I believe right now it's about an additional 15% off. And also code FrankD2L at checkout knocks an additional 10% off. So you can get this right around $28, which is a really, really good price. Now number 5 actually surprised me. Had no idea it would be such a hit when I showed it off, but here it is. That's this Boruit V10 LED Flashlight. A super tiny but powerful light that has a ton of built-in features that I'd say makes this an automatic must-have for your EDC at under 20 bucks. So as a flashlight, first and foremost, there are 4 brightness settings up to 1,000 lumens, which is super bright. But this also provides different light sources for various activities. like a built-in green or a red light, which is good for signaling from a distance. Blue light's good for seeing at night with like fishing. They wrote that on the listing, so I guess it's true. There's different strobing modes as well, which is great for an emergency situation to get people's attention, a cool and a warm light mode, and a built-in UV light, or the fluorescent like black light mode for identifying pet stains, curing resin, and other things like identifying counterfeit money. 14 different LED modes built into one tiny light. To show you a comparison of how bright this really is, the brightest setting on my iPhone 15 flashlight, which is only about 50 lumens, then this is the V10 at 1000 lumens, which is 4 times brighter, which is ironic because this is 4 times smaller than the iPhone. Now, if you're wondering why the cool and warm light modes are built into the side here, it's because this also has magnets built in, so it can act as a hands-free flashlight as well. They make this in a few different colors, but I have it in the clear version because it makes those secondary light features glow brighter as it illuminates the entire shell of the flashlight. It's been on sale for a while now, marked down to $18. Again, a really good pickup for your EDC, especially with those emergency signaling modes. Can just live on your keychain, help you out in a pinch if there's car trouble or something. Can never be too safe, especially when you combine this with that tire compressor from earlier. 2 must-haves in the glove box, under 20 bucks. Now, next for the number 4 spot is an exception, because while technically this never made it into an episode of Cool Tech Under 50, it's still the number 4 most purchased product from this year, and it is under 50 bucks. The reason it's being showcased is because from all of the Prime Day videos, Black Friday, Cyber Monday, this thing sold like crazy. From Fanttik, this is their E1 Max screwdriver kit. So Fanttik is no stranger to the Cool Tech Under 50 series. They always have really cool gadgets, which is why I'm constantly buying these, by the way. I buy these myself with my own money because I genuinely like and use them. And with the E1 kit being so popular, it's very easy to understand why. Not only is it well made, but it's just satisfyingly compact. The storage unit inside is magnetic and holds all the 50 bits and pops out really nicely, with the actual electric screwdriver built into that as well, which also can snap in and out of place. I'm telling you, when you get this, you'll see what I mean. It's very, very satisfying. The screwdriver has 2 different adjustable torque modes and this built-in LED ring around the tip so you can illuminate the area that you're screwing in. Hey yo, you can also just choose to lock the torque mode and use this manually. So, use your own strength. And with those 50 different steel bits that it comes with, it's pretty much gonna have all your bases covered for whatever you're using this for. Whether it's in like PC building, keyboard building, tinkering with drones or other tiny gadgets. It's got all your PH bits, your Y bits, SL, hex bits, T2, P2, your S's, your T's. You can get a better idea when you check it out on the listing, but yeah, 50 bits, odds are the one you need is included here. And again, magnetic, which is great because the screws will stick to the bits as well, but also it just stays nice and contained without falling out of the holder. So 1000% I can see why this was so popular throughout the year. People buying this for, like I said, Prime Day, Black Friday, Cyber Monday, a really, really good gift idea to buy somebody, your dad, I don't know, a friend, or for yourself. Again, if you're into keyboard building, or you're into gadgets in general and you're always tinkering with things, taking things apart, building stuff, the DIY scene, this will be great for that. This also frequently on sale. You can get it for an additional 10% off with code FrankMax at checkout for just around $40. Next, we have this Nixie Tube Glow Clock, which gives a really cool retro look as a desktop analog clock where each number is individually lit with its own LED panel, embedded into this faux wood grain dock. From February's episode, this divergence meter was a huge hit, and was actually added to the Cool Tech Under 50 Hall of Fame, which admittedly I forgot about. So each tube has 10 built-in panels to represent each number from 0 to 9, including one that shows each second. It can display the time, day, year, all programmable, 12-hour or 24-hour modes, and it might sound silly, but this comes pre-built, which is a plus, because I bought another one initially that was a kit that I had to build, and ain't nobody got time for that. I can see it being a nice addition to your desk depending on your setup theme or the nightstand, and it has built-in charging ports on the back for charging other devices as well, which is useful. On the front, it has 4 buttons for changing the modes and setting up the time, brightness, the colors, and so on. There are 9 built-in effects or visual display modes you can cycle through. If you want to keep it chill, you can just have it be one static color, or you can adjust each of the panels individually, which is kind of tedious if you want to adjust each panel LED, but you can do it if you really want to customize it. Of course, you have like a breathing effect. There's 2 different RGB wave modes to cycle through the colors. It can be a timer or set it as like a stopwatch mode. There's a few different visual modes with like the numbers glitching in and out, or each individual number flips like one of those retro flipboards. And it also has built-in memory backup, so if you unplug it or you lose power, you don't have to reset it each time, which is always a hassle. It just saves it for you. I'm definitely a big fan of this. I think it looks great with a really cool design for the price. Understandable why it was such a big hit this year, and this usually sits right at $49.99. All right, now winding down to number 2, the second most purchased product from 2024, which is pretty crazy considering this was just in October's episode. From Mountain, this is their DisplayPad, a 12-key customizable macro pad with those built-in displays that's not only more compact than the Elgato Stream Deck, but the keys here are tactile, and this is just $40. You don't need to own the Mountain Everest keyboard. This is its very own standalone product you can use at your setup, and now have hundreds of macros, shortcuts, functions right there in front of you. Also has this really hefty base, you can dock it up and it won't slide around on your desk. Again, we've showed off the Stream Decks and similar products in the past, which are usually around $100 and up. This is just $40. Each of the 12 display keys are 104 by 104 pixels that support custom JPEGs, PNGs, and GIFs, so you can upload your very own or use their library of icons inside the software, which also does have cool PC integrations to show off things like your temps and your speeds and usage on the fly. Also has hundreds of pre-made functions that you can put on display as well. But for me, I think the biggest difference are the buttons here. The Stream Decks are notoriously mushy, where these are a nice and firm tactile press that feels so much better and more responsive. I have mine set up for quick multimedia adjustments and shortcuts that tie into my most used programs, like for editing with Premiere Pro and Photoshop, shortcuts to launch my most played games, which then also bring up in-game specific macros. Definitely a cool gadget here. The software is pretty bland but easy to set up. Odds are whatever function you're looking for is already built into their drop-down menu with hundreds of different shortcuts that they already have. But again, you can create your own and put pretty much whatever you want on those 12 screens, including unlimited folders inside of folders. So I think the price of $40 is an absolute killer deal here, which is why it's number 2 already. And sure, is the software kind of buggy? Yeah, it's not as polished as Elgato, but this is $40, not $140. Again, the number 2 most purchased product of the year, leading us now into spot number 1, the most purchased product from our entire Cool Tech Under 50 series from 2024. That's gonna be a 7-inch wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto screen that can be used on your setup. So not just limited to your car. So from June's episode was born the number 1 tech gadget of the year, the 7-inch display for your car, giving you this all-in-one wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto dedicated screen to use for only $50. Now, while sure, a lot of cars today do have wireless CarPlay, if your car isn't from like 2020 to now, which probably is a decent percent of people out there, you could probably find this super useful. To show you the setup, in my wife's car, she doesn't have wireless CarPlay, but does have a similar looking entertainment screen already, funny enough. Pairing to the screen with your phone is super easy. It's just a one-time connection over Bluetooth, and then from there, your device automatically recognizes that CarPlay connection. So you'll have the ability to connect to Apple CarPlay or Android Auto experiences depending on your phone, which give you the hub for directions, Spotify, Apple Music, texts, all the goods, but now instead of using your phone as that hub while driving, you can just set it to the screen wirelessly, especially if your car doesn't have a screen or the CarPlay compatibility at all. Now you can for $50. From there, you could still pair your audio over Bluetooth to your car's speakers for music, or use the built-in 3.5mm jack to hardwire it. In the screen settings, you can customize like the wallpapers, the colors, and stuff like that, but the device itself also has a separate home screen with different settings across the entire device, like controlling the brightness and contrast, touch calibrations, even built-in EQ settings. Now again, the obvious use case here is for the car, but like I said before, you can use it elsewhere because it's powered by USB-C. So what about using this at home? at the desk setup as a dedicated screen for getting text or Spotify. A tiny 7-inch display right at your setup, acting as a secondary hub. And what's cool is, since this device is recognized as a CarPlay connection playing off your phone, you could still pair your phone to speakers at your desk if you want to play music from there and still control it from the screen. Again, not its intended use case, but a great use. Definitely a great car or desk setup gadget. The #1 gadget of 2024. So alright guys, that'll wrap it up for this video on the top 10 cool tech under 50 items from all of 2024. Hope you all enjoyed. Like I said before, I'll put all the tech you saw today listed for you guys in the description down below so you can check it out. About 10 days left till Christmas, so hop on those deals while you can, whether it's for you or gifting it for somebody else. All down below for you guys. And also, I'm just gonna put all the episodes from this year in the description down below as well, in case you wanna rewatch those and get other gift ideas. If you like this episode and it helped you out, give it a big thumbs up to show your support. Feel free to follow me on all socials at randomfrankp. And last, if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button. Hope y'all enjoyed. Have a happy holidays. Oh no, you found yourself here. You're timestamped right now. Were you asking or pointing out that these products were repeats? Were you saying, Random Frank P, you're just repeating stuff you've shown off? We saw this in July. Yes, no shit. If you had some working ears or a functioning brain, you would have heard in the first 10 seconds of the video that these were the best of the year that we showcased in our Cool Tech Under 50 episodes. So if that didn't click, or your attention span is smaller than a goldfish and you skipped over that, you found yourself here where I'm telling you, go f yourself. But have a Merry Christmas.